Welcome to True Crime Oracle, where we try to help find clues in the locations of missing children, men, women, and marginalized people. And today we're going to be talking about Elle Ragin. If you already haven't heard her story, please click the link below in the description to watch her story before watching my video. And we're going to get started. Interesting about when I started to read this, I was getting another person involved. So if you already know her story, you know what happened to her mother, it's talking about her mother and another person that is might be involved in her child's disappearance. And so they're talking about there was a lot of mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. There was a lot of fighting between the mother and somebody else in a whole household. I think the child might have suffered some type of abuse. Maybe law enforcement needs to see if there's any past reports of DCS child services reports against this woman. If there are any previous investigations, they need to look at who was living in the household and to see who was involved. And more clues will be coming out really soon about her disappearance. More information will be coming to surface. And pretty much, again, this is talking about someone who has a mental disorder. They have been traumatized. They are psychopathic. This person has schizophrenia. This person is not able to form good relationships with others or empathize with others. So this person is really unstable. And the reason why they did it, because it was revenge, resentment, and jealousy. Maybe this person did not want this child around. Maybe they did it to punish someone else. So when she disappeared, they were already going through another situation, and she finally did it. Maybe her mother did something to this child to get back at her father or anyone else, or maybe she was in cahoots with the father or someone else that may have wanted to take her, but there is a male involved. They are talking about their mental health. This person, again, has a lot of psychosis. They say a higher power made them do things. They are very delusional. They hear voices. And so this person needed to be medicated. They needed to have mental intervention and services, and it keeps going back to a male that is involved. And I have shuffled this deck about 2 times, and the same male card keeps coming out. So there is a male involved in a situation. And I'm going to pull another card, and they're saying to be mindful of a bridge, an overpass, a crossway, to see if there's more clues. Look around water, rivers, or lakes to see any clues or where she might be at. And also look for clues in a home and around buildings, even warehouses. Look around those areas where she frequented, where it's closer to her house or closer to where her daughter was last seen, and you will find more. And it's going back to the person who did this to her. This person is mainly interested in some very taboo things. They get gratification from hurting people. Like I said, this person has a huge psychosis. Maybe the person that's also involved might have had these personality traits, but there is someone else involved in her case as well, for sure. And this is going back to an area where she might be at. They're talking about a farm or shed or a building. They are talking about different locations where this child might have been or might have been in the past, or where her mother might have been. Please look there. And she was dumped somewhere. This is what they are saying about the child. The child was dumped or thrown, or she was shaken, or she fell and she was disposed of. And that's a sad thing to hear about a child. And I'm going to use my true crime oracle, and I'm going to clarify these cards. Spirit, what do you have to tell me about the disappearance of Elle Ragin? Do you have to tell me any more clues that you have for her? What do you want society to know about her disappearance? Can you give me more information about where she may be? What happened to her? She was thrown. She was dumped. Look at this card. This clarifies this card right here. She was dumped. Look at the details of this card. This is a person that's falling. So there are little details detectives and investigators need to pay attention to. This child was dumped somewhere. This child might have been pushed, thrown off, maybe a bridge, or maybe dumped somewhere. But this child was dumped. They will find her body soon. I don't believe this child is alive anymore. And the DNA that's involved in this case may be contaminated, so investigators need to watch the way they are handling their clues and evidence. Please wear gloves. Do not let anyone on the scene that is not supposed to be there. And it's saying that someone coerced the killer into murdering the victim. So this is a person that made the mother do it or has something to do with it. So when you look at these other cards, it talks about a male that was involved. So there is a third party. So with Elle Ragin, please pay attention to the third party. Please pay attention to the past history of Elle Ragin and her mother. Is there any reports of DCS calls? Is there any police reports? Anything suspicious? Anything that you might know about this child? Please come forward and say something. If you know of any third party that have been around this child, go and say something. But the little girl was dumped somewhere. She is not alive. I say within 1 to 6 weeks or maybe a month from now, they will find her body. And I really hate to do these type of stories, but this is what Spirit wants society to know, that this child was dumped. The mother has something to do with it, but also there's a third party. And from here, we're going to close this reading. And thank you for watching True Crime Oracle. And again, if you know any whereabouts and clues about Elle Ragin, please call law enforcement. Thanks for watching. Until next time.